Hey guys, my name is Tito. I make videos on personal finance on my other channel. On this channel, I talk about other things, like in this video when I'll be reviewing the new Nollywood film, The Perfect Arrangement. The Perfect Arrangement is about Tade, a young woman who has strong feelings for two brothers, Chidi and Cheta. When their families have peculiar problems, Tade comes up with an idea that she thinks will solve both families' woes. The Perfect Arrangement is directed and co-written by Chinaza Onuzo. Now this will be a quick one because the Africa Magic Viewers' Choice Awards holds later on tonight and I need to get ready for that. Funny enough, I think the AMVCAs is going to steal some of the thunder of this movie, The Perfect Arrangement, because, I think that's all everyone's going to be talking about from tonight into early next week. And people may forget that this movie, The Perfect Arrangement, actually came out yesterday, Friday the 13th. Anyway, let's dive into it and talk about the performances in The Perfect Arrangement. Now, I forgot to mention that this is Inkblot Studios' second film in 2022. Last month, or was it 2 months ago, they released The Blood Covenant. I've reviewed that. You can check that out by clicking the card in the corner of the screen. Anyway, this one stars Sharon Ooja as Tade Kalejaye, a young fashion entrepreneur who is in love with two brothers. Now, I can't give you guys too many details about the plot or some of the main characters in this film because if I do, you may not go and see the movie, so I'll be a bit vague. Now, Sharon's performance was okay. It was sufficient based on what she was given to work with, but that doesn't mean I was really feeling her character. I think the character was poorly developed and poorly written. For example, the so-called perfect arrangement, which this movie is named after, right, was an idea by Sharon's character. She comes up with this idea in the story, but it's not necessarily a brilliant idea. It's quite silly. And I spent most of the film trying to figure out if Sharon's character is actually an intelligent woman who happened to make a bad choice or a bad decision, or if she's an airhead, who is not very smart and who consistently makes bad decisions or bad choices, like this perfect arrangement in the movie. So that had me confused throughout the movie, and when I'm confused like that, or when an audience member or viewer is confused like that, it's challenging. You don't know what direction you're being led in or how you should support or feel about a character, especially if that character is like the main character. Bovi's performance was okay, but the issue I had was actually with his character, kind of like the way I had an issue with Sharon's character, right? Bovi plays this guy Chidi from a wealthy home, and Chidi is aspiring to some very lofty positions in his career and in his life. However, what we're seeing in the movie in terms of Chidi's dress sense, his environment, and even the way he speaks did not really reflect the kind of lofty heights that Chidi is trying to get to in this movie. It seemed like an imbalance or a disconnect, and it felt very apparent for me. Another thing is that Chidi does some things in this film, and it felt like an injustice for him to get one particular thing which he wanted at the end of the movie because of this career-ending, incidents that happens in the film. So that there are just a few things that just didn't feel right. Another thing is that I don't think I personally would have cast Bovi to play this character or to play this role in this film. First of all, because I wasn't really feeling the chemistry between himself and Pere as brothers. I wasn't really buying it, and I was just managing his chemistry between himself and Sharon's character in the film. I feel like if I sit down and think about it, I could have probably found somebody else that would have had a bit better chemistry with both actors. To be honest, even Pere himself, who I'm going to talk about next, I don't think it was a good choice or casting choice in this film. Let me preface this by saying Pere can actually act. He has a bit of range. I enjoyed him in Charge and Bill. His performance was okay. In this film, however, it's once again down to character development and maybe the directing. Pere's character was very close to Sharon's character, but there were so many gaps because they didn't tell us what or show us what they really bonded over, or tell us how they met, or what their relationship or the attraction between both of them was. Because of that, it just felt like there were so many gaps with Pere's character, and it felt like he would just pop up on screen every now and then, with his shirt buttoned down to reveal chest and with biceps, and as if that's the purpose that character really served in the film. whereas the character is so integral to the story. It felt like there was just so much, we didn't even know, and I kept on saying while watching this film, what does this guy do? He dresses well, he drives a nice car. Yes, he's from a wealthy family, but apart from, popping up every now and then, what does he do for a living? There were just so many questions surrounding Pere's character, which made it hard to enjoy the performance because the character really didn't have that much definition. Dorcas Shola Fapson, Miss DSF, was also in the film. She plays like a responsible married woman in this film, which was different from the roles I've seen her play in other movies, so that was a bit refreshing. Debo Mr Macaroni was also in the film. He plays Sharon's character's brother in the movie, and he really embodied his role as like a responsible type of, brother. The only discrepancy or the issue I had with his character was the fact that in the beginning of the film, he's very into his social media following and he keeps on bringing it up. But from like the second half of the film, he doesn't even bring it up at all. It's as if it never existed. So yeah, but apart from that, I think he actually did okay. What I liked. There was a karaoke scene in this film where two characters in the film, sing to one another. I'm a huge fan of karaoke, so I actually enjoyed seeing that. And that scene stood out to me. I remember saying in my review of The Blood Covenant how there wasn't a particular scene that really stood out in that movie. So I was happy to see that in this film, there was a scene that, stuck out and that I remembered, after seeing the film. What I didn't like. First of all, this film is one of those drone shots galore movies. You will see drone shots until you are tired. So there's that. I didn't like that. Also, there are a pair of siblings in this movie. Bear in mind, if you've been listening, there are two pairs of siblings in this movie. But there's one pair of siblings in this film who their parents have like a problem or a serious challenge with the family business that's threatening the family, right? And the kids the siblings, they are arguing amongst themselves very bitterly, but yet the parents are there keeping quiet. They're not saying anything and they look very powerless. And it's weird because it's the parents who actually have the problem and should be solving the problem, but yet it's their kids that are bickering and shouting and, saying some very harsh words. And it felt very weird to me that the parents, particularly the father, was just there silent. It made him look very powerless. But yet this man is meant to be a very powerful man. I didn't like that. I also didn't like, there was this special assistant to the president of the country who was like a character in this film and who was meant to have a northern accent. The actor who played that character clearly wasn't a northerner, and he was putting up this terrible northern accent, which was very annoying. I wanted to pull my hair out each time I heard the guy speak. And there are several things that weren't plausible in this film. For example, the special assistant to the president coming to Lagos to see some people. It should be the other way around. They should have been the ones going to go and see the guy. And the guy didn't even look like the special assistant to the president. One more thing. In the trailer, you'll see, Bovi's character playing flag football. And I actually know that place. I go and watch flag football there on most weekends, right? The reason behind why they went to that place to film, not necessarily to film, but the reason in the story why they went to that place was so implausible. It really didn't make sense. And that scene, the whole scene that they shot there was I don't know, it was painful to watch, if I can put it like that. What else didn't I like about this film? The premise of this film, the perfect arrangement itself, seemed weak. And I didn't like it. And I didn't like how they tried to push it or run with it in the film. In conclusion, I won't say that this movie was a bad film. I'll just say it was not my cup of tea. I think the story was convoluted, and I feel like the premise, the foundation, the perfect arrangement was weak. I feel like Inkblot just really wanted to make like a love triangle rom-com that had Sharon Ooja in it, and they ended up making this. And to be honest, this film really made me, I felt a very strange way while watching this film, a way that I don't think I've felt ever while watching a Nollywood film. And I think it's because this was the first Nollywood production I had seen after watching Blood Sisters. And Blood Sisters, we're all like on cloud 9 after watching Blood Sisters because of how awesome it was. And then I'm back, to Nollywood watching the things that we typically get from Nollywood. Felt like a bit of a crash and burn type of feeling. Yeah. Let me not say more than that before I make things worse than they already are. Thank you guys so much for watching. By the way, speaking of Blood Sisters, be sure to check out my Blood Sisters review. I reviewed all 4 episodes. I enjoyed it. You can check that out. And remember to please like this video by clicking on the like button just underneath the video, and subscribe to my channel by clicking on the red subscribe button. On this channel, I don't just do Nollywood movie reviews, I also talk about relationships. To check out some of my awesome relationship videos or my Nollywood reviews, you can click the card in the corner of the screen. Now, I don't just have this channel, I also have another channel where I talk about personal finance, saving and investing, because that stuff is actually quite important. To check that out, you can click the the link to that channel in the description box down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me get out of these clothes and get ready for the AMVCAs, which is in about 3 or 4 hours. I'll carry you guys along for that. There will be a vlog on that, on the AMVCAs. I need to prepare for that as well, charge the battery of this camera. I have lots of things to do, and so do you, by liking the video and subscribing, because some of you still haven't done that. Thanks for the final time, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.